Hi there everyone, it's Janette here from Enthusiastic Gardener. I have done no gardening all week because here in Essex on the southeast coast of England, this is what the weather has been like. I've done a little bit of deadheading, that's about it. But I thought, let's have a quick look around the July garden here in Essex on the southeast coast of England. I'm about 30 miles east of the City of London, and 30 miles in the other direction is Southend-on-Sea, the wonderful seaside town. So come and have a look with me around the July garden today. Let's start over here in my new area which I planted up last week. The hardy geraniums have picked up and the bees are loving them, as you can see over here. Enjoying them. And we haven't had the fountain on that much because it's been raining so much. That's a Formium, brown sugar, Scabiosa, Gara, Verbena bonariensis over the back, which I'm hoping will grow up and look all beautiful and wispy. I still haven't got round to trimming the yew. And here we have the apple tree which I moved, which was just here, and I've put it there. Seems to be doing okay. Sedum Autumn Joy just beginning to turn colour if you look closely. This is going to be my new area which I'm still deciding. Now I'd like your opinion please, because I'm thinking, and Richard is not keen on this idea, but I'm wondering about another little chair. Now I know I have chairs everywhere. I have a chair here, I have a chair, the yellow chair over there. Do you really need more chairs? Especially since we have chairs right there. But I like chairs dotted around, and I think it would be a little focal feature, not a big chair. Anyway, I'm still deciding. That's why the stepping stones are here, because I'm just testing out the idea. So if I turn round and pretend to sit, I quite like this would be the view that I would get. And it's just a space to contemplate just for 5 minutes with a cup of tea. And if you look up, I sat here the other night, this beautiful expanse of sky. Watched the last birds just flying around before they went to bed. There were bats as well, which was fun to watch. We always get bats around here at the end of the day, just at dusk, going around catching all their mosquitoes and things. So I'm thinking about that. Let me know what you think. And the colour that I'm thinking is lime green, but only a small one. Funnily enough, when I went on my dog walk, I always seem to find things. There was one of those lovely wrought iron chairs, and at the time I saw it and thought, oh, I don't need it. Someone had just left it there. Sounds like a big dumping ground where I live, doesn't it? But I didn't pick it up, and now I really regret it. There's my Trachycarpus. This is a full sun border. And as you can see, I have heucheras, I have a Chinese plumbago, still haven't planted my Miss Ruby buddleia or my salvia. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do here. And I just want to point out this clematis, very, very pretty clematis. It's called a Viticella, and it's an Etoile Voilette. And funnily enough, I originally planted 9. I had 9 clematis. I had 1 on each of the trellis. So there's 5 that side, there's 4 this side, and clematis and I don't seem to get along that well. We only have that one there, and we have this one, which is an early spring flowering one called Blue Ice. And none of the others ever survived. This here in the back, you can just about see, it's a honeysuckle. And my gorgeous Trachycarpus fortunei. It's done so well. This will be its, let me think now. Planted it in 21, so it's been here 2 years. There's a salvia just up there, more heucheras, some sort of a holly. Someone did tell me what that was called and I've forgotten still. A euonymus. This beautiful one is a Rocky Mountain blue arrow, a juniper, next to another salvia which is in the pot. And I like that because when I stand further back or even sit in my lounge, because it's raised and I can see it over these chairs, so I see the colour, so that's kind of serendipitous. It was a happy accident. This is a Nandina, and my Mahonia. Still loving my Photinia Pink Crispy, which is not pink at the moment, but that's what happens in the spring. And I gave my rose its first prune, down to 5 leaves, everyone. 5 leaves, and it's beginning to create new buds now again. So I'm thinking maybe next week we'll see some more flowers. Chamaecyparis. This is a Rose of Sharon, and that will be pink flowers. And I've deadheaded all the geraniums, so they're beginning to get new buds again. This is some sort of lily here, and it has really, really dark red, even black flowers. And I did trim my Photinia Red Robin. You may remember my friend Edie gave me this little smoke bush called Young Lady, and I'm so pleased because it's put on all this bright green new growth. So obviously it must be happy. Little hydrangea. The lamium has spread, really spread, and it has beautiful little purple flowers. I love the lamium, and it shines at night as well. I moved this little Acer Princess here. That seems to be happy. And as we look around to the heucheras, the middle one, this one, struggling a bit. We have some Pyrrhus here. This is my red rose, which is beautiful, and it's a Ruby Wedding 40th anniversary. That's been flowering non-stop. Now that's been in for 2 years, so it does take a couple of years for things to establish. And I must remember not to be so impatient. The Cercis canadensis, forest pansy redbud, that's doing well, and it has grown a lot. And that's my wonderful Fatsia japonica. And this year I've left all the leaves to grow at the bottom, which normally I do tend to take all the lower leaves off, but I've just thought I'll leave that this time. This is another Chamaecyparis at the front here, cloud pruned, probably needs a little trim. And we have a phlox here, just beginning to start flowering. Behind it is my David Austin, James L. Austin. Again, that's had a trim or a prune, so there are no flowers to show you at the moment. And this rose here is the Olivia L. Austin, same again. The pear tree is doing well. Little bit of an odd shape, but that's doing very well. And then of course we have Shady Corner, my wonderful Shady Corner with my new fountain. You can see I've moved the cat again. The cat has now been moved to here because I felt like I had my 3-ball topiary here. I felt like it's nice to have a bit of height, so I just thought I'll try my cat there, and I do actually like it in amongst all the crocosmia. And I feel like now, instead of having quite so many different bits dotted around, this is now my kind of whimsical area. So the only other bit of whimsy are the flamingos, which you've seen by the other fountain. This hydrangea is a vanilla phrase. I've realised I do not have any success with hydrangeas. I had 3. Well, I have mop heads, they're okay. They do well, macrophilias. But these panicles, paniculatas, I mean, that is not very, I mean, it gives it a bit of colour, but it's not very happy. So that's a shame. That's my 9 bark, probably called the Lady in Red, as I was happily told. The ferns are just exploding. They're so happy here. They're only in planters, they're not in the ground. So I have a line of 4 planters along there. And it leads up to my garden illusion gate, which I love. And I've had so many questions about that. It's from a company called Primrose, primrose.co.uk. They do it in all different sizes, shapes, etc. It just brightens up at what would otherwise be a very boring corner, makes it look as if it leads to a secret garden, but of course it doesn't. These are the hostas in my raised pots. So that's another thing. I cannot grow hostas because of the slugs and snails. I know now which plants that I can have, and as long as I stick to that, the slugs and snails won't bother me. I'm very pleased with my row of euonymus. Now I planted these last spring, so spring 2022. They were miniature little twigs because I had to take my boxwoods out. I had a row of beautiful boxwoods which went down either side. I had at that time, the path just came straight down to here and out this way. But when I redesigned, I did a little bit up to the chair and then a little bit up to there. So they were tiny little plugs and quite inexpensive. And I'm so pleased that in just over a year or 18 months, they've done so well. Wonderful, very happy with that. The blue bush lobelia, some of it I've had to pull out. As you can see, some of it does struggle. I don't think, it looks beautiful when you first plant it or a couple of weeks later. It looks gorgeous all the way round, but it's an effort to keep it going. It wants water all the time. So we have a couple more heucheras dotted around everywhere. This is my Ilex crenata, cloud pruned topiary. We have some grasses. That is Atlanta spruce there, which at one time I made into a spiral. You can see the remains of the spiral, but I'm just letting that grow out. Another sedum autumn joy. That's a euonymus, and we have a cherry tree up here which I've just trimmed quite drastically. It was literally like that, but not a nice shape, so that's had a very radical haircut. And we have a Chamaecyparis here, some sweet potato vine, lovely bright pop of colour. This salvia here, I've just trimmed both or a couple of my salvias because the blooms were fading, and hoping that I will get some more. And we have osteospermums. Over the back we have echinacea and some begonias dotted around. And as we move to this section, this is my eremophila, my emu bush. I love the emu bush. And we have the carex that I divided at the bottom here. Divided those. This is another salvia. As you can see, the bees are loving the salvia. A couple of heucheras. My plum tree needs a trim, which I'll do. And these are the contrast pelargoniums, which, as you can see, have really filled in. And I'll show you from the other direction because they do look lovely. We have some more geraniums or pelargoniums, a little lemon cypress. And over here, now Mum gave me this and she couldn't remember what it was called. It's got yellow flowers. That's another salvia I cut back, and you can see it was so windy last weekend. I have leaves everywhere. I have a nandina here, and here I have some veronicastrum just beginning to come into full glory. And I moved this a year ago, so last year it didn't do very well. This year it's looking so much better. So that's another reason why I need to have patience. I think I expect too much. Over the back, I didn't tell you, over the back right there is one of my most favourites, Picea pungens, Hoopsii. And this one here is another Picea pungens, and that's called Super Blue Seedling. And we have some little pelargoniums in front of that. This is some sort of a lily, and I had beautiful, beautiful white flowers, which I've just cut off actually because they had reached their prime, so I don't know if I'll have any more. And I'm delighted with this little area here, which I planted up a few weeks back with, again, the lamium. And the lamium has spread so much that I had to raise up my snail, put him on a couple of bricks, because you could only see him from about that. It looked like the Loch Ness Monster rather than a snail. So I'm very pleased with that area. Had to move my tortoises out as well because they got hidden. Now Carnival Corner, which I used to call Carnival Corner when it had the bunting. I do like this, and it does really spins around when it's windy, and it does catch the light because this is the south here, so the sun in the daytime comes through, but I think that's the perfect spot for that. I haven't even got around to planting this, which I just haven't done it. I haven't planted any of those pots either. I have tidied up a little bit, and you can see I've got a climbing clematis there, which is past its best. It's not that happy there. We had heating problems yesterday. Richard changed the immersion heater. We had water gushed out. We had an inch of water, no, a centimetre of water all over the ground floor. We were on our hands and knees with towels. Every towel from the airing cupboard got pulled out, mopping up, and it was hot water as well. And then I had Lottie and Lucy trying to wade through, so that was not fun. Here's a view from the other side. The window box is looking nice. You may remember I had dahlias here, but I've moved them over to here. They're right there. Foolishly, I moved them because I forgot. Slugs and snails love crunchy stems of dahlias, and they got my dahlias. The reason I moved them, as I say, is because it was so hot here, so I've replaced them with some beautiful begonias. And begonias are wonderful because they can take shade and they can take the sun. And I think you can see there's white ones as well in amongst some sweet potato vine. A beautiful little rose, which was lovely. And we have this climbing rose here called Santana. Again, I've pruned that, so hopefully we'll get some more roses from that. And again, another thing, this is its maybe third year, and this is the year it's doing well. It's all doing well, and it's looking so lovely because of all the rain that we had. Although I do need to do the weeding. I hope you've enjoyed my garden tour in Essex as we head towards August already. It's flying by. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Janette. I'm the Enthusiastic Gardener. Have fun in your gardens, and I will see you next week, weather permitting.